வணக்கம் and welcome to TiE Chennai's Breakthroughs and Blunders Tanglish podcast. யாருக்காக? நம்மை போன்ற ஆண்டர்பிரனர்ஸுக்கு. யார் சொல்றாங்க? TiE சென்னையோட சார்ட்டர் மெம்பர்ஸ். பழம் தின்னு கொட்டை போட்டவங்க நம்ம கிட்ட வந்து பழைய கதைகளை சொல்றாங்க. ஆனா எல்லாத்துலயும் புதுசா கத்துக்க வேண்டிய லெசன்ஸ் இருக்கு. Breakthroughs and Blunders. வாங்க பழகலாம். வணக்கம் and welcome to another episode of TiE Chennai's Breakthroughs and Blunders. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கூட வந்திருக்கிறவர் கோபி, whom I have known as a charter member for more than a year. ஆனால் பழகினது எப்போன்னு பார்த்தா பெங்களூர் இன் டிசம்பர் ஃபார் த TiE குளோபல் சமிட். TiE ஒரு பெரிய கோஷ்டியே ட்ரெயினில் போச்சு. என் பக்கத்தில் கோபி உட்காந்துருந்தார். ஒரு 2 மணி நேரம் டெடிக்கேட்டட் டாக். அண்ட் கோபி அவர் கதையெல்லாம் சொல்லும்போது நான் ஆன்னு ஒரு பட்டிக்கட்டா மிட்டாய் கடையை பார்த்த மாதிரி, ஆஹா இதெல்லாம் செஞ்சுருக்கீங்களா, கண்டிப்பாக ஒரு புஸ்தகம் எழுதணும் அப்படின்னு. அதுக்கப்புறம் இப்போ ஒரு கெஸ்ட்டாக வாங்கன்னா அவர் துள்ளி குதிச்சு ஓடி வந்துட்டார். வணக்கம் கோபி.
வணக்கம் பிரவீன். வணக்கம். ஆமாம், நல்ல ட்ரெயின் ஜேர்னி தான் அது. ஆமாம், TiE குளோபல் சம்மிட்டும் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. ஆமாம், அந்த ஜேர்னி வாஸ் வெரி என்ஜாயபிள்.
கோபி, ஷார்ட் இன்ட்ரோ உங்களை பற்றி, உங்களோட என்டையர் ஜேர்னி ஆல் த்ரூ யுவர் கெரியர் வி வுட் லவ் டு ஹியர்.
ஓகே, நான் பிறந்து வளர்ந்ததுலாம் சென்னையில் தான். என்னோடய இன்ஜினியரிங் நான் IIT மெட்ராஸில் பண்ணேன். அதை முடிச்சுட்டு IIM கால்கட்டாவுக்கு MBAக்கு போயிருந்தேன். அதில் கான்டெக்ஸ்ட் என்னென்னா, அந்த டைமில் எல்லோரும் என் கிளாஸில் 50 பேர் இருந்தாங்க, 46 பேர் US போயிட்டாங்க. ஏன்னா எல்லோரும் அப்போ US தான் போவாங்க. நாங்கள் இங்கே இருந்ததுக்கு காரணமே இந்தியா ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருந்தது. சரி, இங்கேயே இருக்கலாமேன்னு இருந்தோம். அது வந்து அப்போ எங்களுக்கு ஒரு நிக்நேம் இருக்கும், MBMன்னு, மேரா பாரத் மகான். அங்கே அவ்வளோ ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்குது, அதெல்லாம் விட்டு இங்கே இருக்கணும்னு விருப்பப்படுறியேன்னு அங்கே போயிட்டு அங்கேருந்து ஜான்சன் பாம்பேயில் சேர்ந்தேன். ஒரு 10 வருஷம் அவங்க கூட இருந்தேன். ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. ஸோ சேல்ஸ் ஸ்டென்ட், அதுக்கப்புறம் ப்ராடக்ட் மேனேஜராக, அதுக்கப்புறம் கண்ட்ரி ஹெட் ஃபார் இந்தியா, நடுவில் ஒரு போஸ்டிங் நார்த் அமெரிக்கா இருந்தது. திரும்பி வந்து கண்ட்ரி ஹெட்டான அப்புறம் கடைசி போஸ்டிங் அவங்க கூட கண்ட்ரி ஹெட் ஆஃப் மலேசியா ஃபார் ஜான்சன் விஷன் கேருக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் அப்போ வந்து இந்தியா ஆர்வம் இருந்தாலும் அப்போ எனக்கு மலேசியாவில் இருக்கும்போது க்ளீனாக தெரிஞ்சிடுச்சு, அந்த மாதிரி குளோபல் பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ் இல்லைன்னா இந்தியாவிலே ஃப்யூச்சரில் சர்வைவ் ஆக முடியாதுன்னு நல்லா தெரிஞ்சிச்சு. மலேசியாவில் கிளியராக அது புரிஞ்சுது. அதனால் இன்னொரு MBA பண்ணேன், IMDன்னு ஒரு ஊரில், சுவிட்சர்லாண்டில்.
ரைட்.
அதை முடிச்சுட்டு அங்கேருந்து ஃபிலிப்ஸ் ஆம்ஸ்டர்டாமில் ஜாயின் பண்ணேன். அங்கே வந்து மை லாஸ்ட் அசைன்மெண்ட் வாஸ் as CEO of the wearables business of Philips.
Right.
At some point, although I never wanted to leave India or 5 countries வாழ்ந்தாச்சு, at some point we said we'll come back home.
Right.
So Jan 2014 I came back to India. I mean, I didn't have much to do, I just moved back. அப்போ வந்து latent view analytics இங்கே. ஸோ வெங்கட் is a close friend from IIT-IIM and Bombay. I know each other really well. So வரும்போது he said, why don't you take the business forward? He had been the founder CEO for 8 years. So he said, நீங்க வந்திருக்க, why don't you take this forward? So I did that for about 5 years. So I was a CEO, and great credit to Venkat, who's also a TiE charter member, and right. He is very active in is that those 5 years I got the kind of freedom I got in a Philips or a J&J, right? So hats off to the entrepreneur Venkat, that he gave me such a freedom to run the company. And I think we laid the foundation for what turned out to be one of the most successful IPOs ever in the Indian stock market. We got some 300 and odd percentage oversubscription for the thing, and Rajan was the CEO then, my successor. Right. We got him from Accenture and we got him there. So anyway, so all my life, J&J, Philips, latent view, I've been an executive.
Right.
So post that, I'm an entrepreneur now. I've co-founded 3 companies.
Nice.
So during the course, we'll get an opportunity to share some of those things.
Absolutely.
One is Cardiac Wellness Institute. Number past TiE president, Lakshmi, has participated in it, and he's a great endorser. He's a great happy customer. So we provide preventive cardiology, rehabilitation. India lavlo adu pandradilla, adala thirumbi vandona we said we do that. And similarly, I have a company in the agri and food tech space,
Right.
which I think is the future. So 5 or 10 years down there. So we have invested in a vertical farming technology. And I also have a AI company. So we are the AI partners of Nippon Life.
Right.
And we do a lot of cutting edge work on the healthcare side in AI. So super excited, but it's been a tough transition for me to shift from a executive to a founder.
Right.
Right? எப்படி இருந்தாலும் as an executive, you follow the policies. இப்போ அந்த மாதிரி யார்கிட்ட சொன்னாங்க திரும்பி பாலிசி கிடையாதுங்க, நீங்கள் தான் சொல்லணும் பாலிசி.
நீங்க தான் boss.
So it is a bit of a challenge,
Right.
but the experience helps. Having the experience helps. So in a nutshell, executive, multiple countries, been in different situations, different businesses. So I'm really looking forward to the next phase of my journey where I really build companies that we can be proud of.
Very nice. அந்த challenges பத்தி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்களேன். From an executive, chief executive to a founder executive.
I'm still learning, so I haven't figured it out. As a chief executive officer, you have to align the whole organization towards the organization's goals, right? And it's a bit of a challenge because you need to, your value proposition should have phenomenal consumer insights, and your team building should have phenomenal people insights. And over a period of time, you learn how to do this. But once you become a founder, customer கிடையாது, டீமும் இல்லை. So first people think that within a year or two இவர் வேற ஏதாவது இடத்துல CEO போயிட போறாரு. அதுதான், everyone's looking at that. But after a while, then you attract like-minded people. So here, for me, there's a vision. And I say, I'm going to be the founder for the next 20 years.
Right.
And I'm going to build something beautiful. Then slowly you have the like-minded people come to you. They join your team. And then customers come to you and you reach out. It's a slow burn process in the initial stage. And then hopefully at some point, all my skills as a CEO or a executive will come in. But at this point, in the salary pay பண்றது, TDS pay பண்றது, GST pay பண்றதுலாம் நான் தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். அது எனக்கு, I can do it, but I'm not very good at it.
Right. Beautiful. So the entire premise in the podcast பார்த்தீங்கனாலே breakthroughs and blunders.
Yeah.
Across your career, or it could also be the latent view part of it where there was significant growth. என்ன மாதிரி challenges இருந்தது, என்ன points of improvement இருந்தது?
So it's a beautiful team that Venkat had formed. Just like what I'm facing as a founder now, everybody who was with him had joined because of the individual. Right. And suddenly, now ஊர்லேருந்து திரும்பி வந்தோன்னா, Venkat says from now on, Gopi is the CEO.
Right.
Nobody likes it. Who likes that, right? So, and the international CEOs என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, they immediately change the team and get their guys in.
Right.
I was very particular that, an entrepreneur has founded a company using his heart and soul. Pramad has been very active in it. Venkat's wife, she's also a TiE Chennai member. So they founded it, put in their heart and soul and built a company that was so great. So I said, we will grow this business with these people. Not
nice.
So I don't think in the 5 years I was there, we had manager and upward. I had very minimal loss of talent. Right. Everybody was with us, and that we took. I took great efforts for that, and it's also. I mean, it's just that they know that you're close to Venkat, and I had to align my vision in a way, how would Venkat look at this?
Yes.
And then bring in what is needed for the next phase of the company, right? And I didn't behave like a normal professional CEO, but it was more so I would travel in the same way Venkat would travel. I'll stay in the same hotels that Venkat would travel, stay in. So I would do all of those things. But after a year or year and a half, then you get to know the people. Then you're on your own. So you have your own personality and that start showing up. But the biggest challenge I had was, நாங்கள் போன உடனே எங்கள் கஸ்டமர் கிட்ட போனால் அங்கே வந்து ஒரு CVP, corporate vice president இருப்பார். So our team would get a meeting for me with that CVP, USல. but they wouldn't join in for that meeting. And they would be like, Gopi, it's difficult to get time with him. You go meet him, kind of a thing. So I was very particular that our team speaks to each one of these people as equals, right? So it took me a while, but I still remember once I got a phone call from my team saying, hey, we have a meeting in New York. It's with a Fortune 500 firm. And usually அவங்க மீட்டிங் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா they are comfortable with managers and senior managers அப்போ then director levelனா okay VP-னா உடனே Gopi can you join அப்படின்வாங்க. But இவங்க ஃபோன் பண்ணி we are meeting the CEO of the company and can you join, right? I said, வேற என்ன வேலை நமக்கு? Immediately, next flight you take, you are in New York for this meeting. அங்கே போய் பார்த்தா there's a CEO, Chief Design Officer, CMO, all of these guys are there. And our guys are presenting a platform strategy to them. And they did such a fabulous job, right? So my presence in the meeting was totally useless. I was just sitting there and watching. But that day I felt very good, saying this team in the initial stages would hesitate to talk to senior people.
Right.
And they're having a CEO of a Fortune 500 firm eat out of their hands, right? So unbelievable change. Idella on the soft changes, right? So, but unless you do these soft changes, you cannot see stellar results outside. And it's difficult also to explain to people these things because they seem very simple, or in a typical firm you do is let's get a good sales guy from outside,
right?
But adu won't work with early stage companies. How do we improve our people? How do you, and in most parts our people are really good. What we need to do is raise the bar, make sure it's raised slowly so that they can pick it up, and but you don't compromise on the bar. You need to keep it very high to make sure they make it. So the leaders of the firm grow in stature, grow in professionalism, and they become really good. So super proud of seeing some of them where they are, and I'm sure they'll be way better than what we were at that point in time, because they get more experiences and more exposure. So.
One personal question here, Gopi. J&J was a different case. Then மறுபடியும் ஒரு MBA பண்ணிட்டு then you had Philips.
Yeah.
From there to come into a technology or an analytics company, how did that transition happen?
Superb question, right? I mean, you're hitting at the core of it. Business, in my view, is very simple.
Right.
You should have fun doing it.
Right.
Illana, you shouldn't do it. இது பெரிய கம்பெனி, சின்ன கம்பெனி, technology company, service company, consumer company, there will be a customer. They will have a need.
Right.
You should understand that need and address it better than anyone else.
Beautiful.
Avladhan. Idlo onno, I don't see a difference between a startup company, medium size, large company. The only joke I used to crack in the initial stages that Venkat didn't like was, I said, the previous companies, my founders are all dead. Then I said, no, okay. Doesn't sound nice. So I changed it to both J&J and Philips were founded in the 1880s.
Right.
And Latent View was founded in 2006. Right? So I said, hey, I've never worked in a company that was founded in the 20th century. So that seemed more palatable and everybody was happy with that. But the first joke didn't go too well.
Hiring challenges. What have you faced across the companies that you've been an executive with, and more so also with Latent View? என்ன மாதிரி challenges face பண்றீங்க?
Hiring is fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.
You should know very clearly what kind of people you want, and your value systems. I think we should not get desperate that we want all these positions filled up in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. So you want to make sure that you're attracting a team that is of super high caliber with the similar value systems, that you don't need to manage them after you get them on board. That now you get 3 people on board, then there are 4 people now who can build the company
Yes.
instead of one person managing 3 people who are building them. So we take a long-term view on recruiting people. And one of those things with that is, this is the principle of both principles that I learned in Johnson & Johnson and Philips, was we would always pay way lower than the market value.
Oh.
Right. And the reason for that is we will bring in thought leadership.
Right.
So we will make it cool to work in the company that we are working for. We'll make it super cool. We will be respected in the industry because of the value that we are adding. We should be invited for keynotes in conferences that are relevant to the industry. So those are the things that we look for, and then we automatically attract the right kind of people. So with Latent View, most people who are returning from the US would come and check with us saying if there's any opening. And which was a nice talent pool that would come. And the reason they're coming to us is they would check with other people in the ecosystem to see what are the companies that I could work with here. And there'll be 2-3 names that props up and they come and talk to you. As I'm looking at the companies, if I look at Disruptive AI or Boostable, we are getting some really top-notch quality of people. Because we have chosen only to do cutting edge work, right? We have chosen not to do other things. We will only work on these fields. So automatically, to put it very bluntly, the nerds are attracted by the nerds. Right? So they all come in and say, who's working on this field, right? Or this is the field, okay, can I come and get on with it? And we say, sure, come on and add value to us. So the hiring talent part has been very natural and easy. And if somebody doesn't want to join us, we are fine with that. And if they ask for, I see it as a red flag. If somebody keeps asking for, I want more of this, more of that, and more of that, immediately we say it probably won't fit in. We are in this for the long term, and we'll make a difference. Whoever joins us will have a big benefit over a period of time. But in the short term, if they're looking for a lot of things, then we say probably we refer them to other companies.
ஸோ கோபி மேரா மாராத் மகான்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு 3-4 கான்டினென்ட்ல போய் இருந்துட்டு வந்திருக்கீங்க. எனி ஃபனி ட்ராவல் இன்சிடென்ட், எனி எபிசோட் தட் யூ வாண்ட் டு நரேட்?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's so many interesting things, but of course I'll avoid the food part because it could be embarrassing for the people who are listening. But the food is the toughest. எந்த ஊருக்கு போனாலும் எதையாவது கொடுத்துட்டு தான் எங்கள் டெலிகசி சாப்பிடுவாங்க. நீ கஷ்டப்பட்டு சாப்பிட்டு முடிச்சா, oh, you liked it, here's one more nu கொடுப்பாங்க. So food is a tough one, so I leave it aside. But let me say the cultural ones are fairly interesting, right? So one of it is if you are in Germany and having a conversation, right? They have a strict agenda. I mean, I'm talking about quite a few of the Northern European companies. So you will have a very strict agenda, and if you cannot exceed that by even a minute.
Right.
And initially I was not sensitive to it because Indiaல வந்து அந்த கரெக்டாக ஒரு 7-7:30 மணிக்கு நைட்டில் தான் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பாயிண்ட்டே டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கும் டீம். அண்ட் we'd be discussing forever till we crack the code, we will be at it. Anga the people switch off. So supposing you say this topic for discussion is between 2 and 3 p.m. Around 2:55, they all switch off and they're looking at you need to get to a conclusion now. And appadan soodu pidichirukkom. You would have cut through all the things and you would have gone through the core of the problem. Appa paakumbodhu enna ipdi avudhen paatha, then I learned how to say this, that you say we are extending the session by 15 minutes. We have factored it in 2 sessions. So that session that's supposed to end at 4:45 will now be a shorter session by 15 minutes, and we are extending this one by 15 minutes. Now then they are willing to listen to you for 15 minutes, right? So these are, I mean, I found it very funny initially saying, why are you stopping the conversation? But then you see these are cultural differences which are huge, and it's always problems. I could share a couple of interesting ones. One is Philipsல இருக்கும்போது Bay Area போயிருந்தேன். அப்போ வந்து my CTO was a Dutch guy,
right?
And I was the CEO of the business, and then we had a huge team on the other side pitching for something. And on the side of the CEO, எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் டெக்னிக்கல் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எல்லாம் என்ன பார்த்து கேட்க ஆரம்பிச்சு, பிஸ்னஸ் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எல்லாம் இப்போ பார்த்தாலும் அவர் பார்த்து கேட்டிருந்தாரு. எனக்கு it கொஞ்ச நேரம் ஆச்சு. Then after some time I realized he assumed because of my Indian origin that I'm the tech guy. I know everything, and it's a Dutch company, so the Dutch guy is the CEO. So their team was they caught it immediately,
right.
and they're very embarrassed. They're like calling him and saying, "Boss, neenga mathi solringa." So it went on for some time, and then we played ball. But interesting, this is nice. But last year we were trying to sell a vertical farm to a client who's in Atlanta. He has 1,600 acres. அவர் என்ன பண்ணாரு, ரொம்ப Indian origin guy. He came and said, Gopi, do you want to see the whole farm? I said, fine. Come, let's go see it. ஒரு 2-seater plane வச்சுட்டாரு. So, and he's like, you sit in the front. சரி, நான் ஃப்ரண்ட்ல உட்காந்து சரன் போய் we went, came back. இறங்கினப்புறம் ஒரு punchline, இதை நானே செஞ்சது. So he's apparently a fanatic flying club guy, and he's created that whole plane himself. So I'm like, hey, this is we still botched the deal. So I think there's an opening. We have a good relationship.
Right.
We might go and sell it next year. But at this moment, we don't have a deal. But it was good fun to, as part of your tour, you take a 2-seater plane and go around see the.
Very interesting. Now, moving into எனக்கு பிடிச்ச டாபிக் மார்க்கெட்டிங். Some breakthroughs and blunders across J&J, Philips, latent view and vertical farming. ஏதாவது இருக்கா episode, something you like to share?
Obviously, yeah, lots. But first, I will probably be a bit serious about how we think about marketing. So that,
please.
So because Johnson & Johnson is a consumer company, and then Philips was also fairly consumer based, we were very particular in getting our value proposition right.
Right.
What does that mean? That means you should define your consumer really, really well. You should understand the consumer really well, and you should have some insights that are earth-shattering. So you do your focus group discussions to get the qualitative insights, and you have to, as an individual, I've sat through a lot of these to understand what makes a difference in this, and then you have to quantitatively test before you launch the product, right? And the testing is very important because that's when you get all the insights, and then you go back to the drawing board sometimes when you fail, fix it, and then come back.
Yes.
So what you got till now is what's the need. That's what you understood. Then you have a product, right? Your engineering team, everybody says, this is the greatest product in the whole world. Nobody's got this, right? First thing is, does this address the customer's need? முக்காசி நேரம் ஒன்றுமே அட்ரஸ் பண்ணாது. இது பாட்டு ஏதோ பண்ணோம், அது that will be different. Then you have to give the feedback to the teams, develop the product, fine-tune the product, get the product to a time where it addresses the needs. You check that qualitatively. Then you have to do a quantitative study on all of these things. Only then you launch the product, right? So this methodology was very standard in Johnson & Johnson. It was very standard in Philips. And we would do our own way of this in latent view. And any of the things that I touch, unless I have a consumer need, the customer's need really understood,
Beautiful.
you don't take, you don't launch anything just because it's a great idea or something. I take it for a given.
Right.
When I interact with entrepreneurs today, I find that some of them have not gone through this process.
No, they're still stuck. அந்த ஐடியா சூப்பரா இருக்கு. Come on, we'll build it.
அதெல்லாம்
வந்துருவாங்க.
So யாருக்கான ஐடியா, அவங்களுக்கு இது சூப்பரா இருக்கா?
Nice.
So Philipsல இருக்கும்போது எங்க டீம் வந்து they built this robot floor cleaner.
Right.
அது போட்டு, I'm talking about like 20 years ago.
Right.
And they cracked it. They said, we've done it, we've cracked it, we can launch it. So what we have is a home use test.
Yes.
We take this and give it to consumers and say, you use it. அவர் போட்டால் அவர் வந்து இட்ஸ் நாட் ஒர்க்கிங்னுவாங்க. ஸோ யூ கோ அண்ட் ஆஸ்க் வாட் இஸ் நாட் ஒர்க்கிங். இட்ஸ் இட் ஐ லெஃப்ட் இட், வெண்ட் அவுட் சைட் டு பை சம் க்ராசரி, கேம் பேக், இட் காட் ஸ்டக் இன் த சோஃபா. நம்ம என்ஜினியர் காலில் லைட்டாக தட்டி விட்டு இப்போ பாருங்கள் மாட்டலாம் அது போயிட்டு. ஸோ த வே த கன்சியூமர் லுக்ஸ் அட் த ப்ராடக்ட் is very different from the way your engineer and your developer looks at the product. And அதில் வந்து there is no shortcut, right? So in the vertical farm சொன்னீங்கல்ல, we have installed it in Bangalore. And எங்கள் R&D labல it grows very well. And for me, that doesn't mean anything. My customer should say it is great. So we have 3 installations. One is completed. So now I'm waiting for the customer feedback. Right. The customer says you're 5 out of 5. Then you're ready for a scale up.
Yes.
But you say you're a 5 out of 5 and customer says you're a 2 out of 5. Then you have to go back to the drawing board and fix it. So business marketing la romba simple. Customer ஒருத்தர் இருக்காரு, அவங்க என்ன சொல்கிறாங்களோ that's more important than what you're thinking. அப்போ வந்து your ego எல்லாம் எடுத்து குப்பையில் போட்டு you have to sit down and take notes. You will feel like responding back. ஒன்றுமே பண்ணக்கூடாது, போய் 2 நாள் பொறுத்து then you can go back to the customer and discuss. But when you take feedback, you have to be very serious about receiving feedback and taking that. That's the only way you develop the product. Sometimes today's entrepreneurs don't have that discipline, because discipline enna porakkumode vandu these companies train me on these. Yes. So now we look at it. But if that is there, then you don't waste money on marketing. And so you have a good product, yes. Word of mouth happens, automatically you get customers. ஒன்றுமே பண்ண வேணாம், அவங்களே உங்ககிட்ட வருவாங்க. Within a short period of time you reach critical mass. Then you start using the traditional marketing tools to take you up to the next level. So at the critical mass reach பண்ற வரைக்கும் you have to be disciplined, going back to the drawing board, tweaking these things and getting things right.
One question coming from the D2C part. இப்போ இந்தியாவில் வந்து D2C is the direct to consumer market. எங்கேயோ போயிட்டுருக்கு. Lot of growth, lot of housewives jumping in, lot of good product companies. Now, given your experience in both J&J and Philips and the fact you said word of mouth, how did the large companies leverage this word of mouth, Gopi? And what can the D2C companies learn from that?
I'm probably not the right guy to respond to this question, but in general, munala or 30 seconds we'll make. So all the skill sets of a marketing guy, my past is you use all consumer everything or 30-second advertisement பண்ணுவோம்.
Right.
That 30-second advertisement will be a common ground for everybody.
Yes.
Right? இப்போ வந்து you can do hyper personalization.
Yes.
You don't need that level of insights across board. உங்களுக்கு I'll give you the message you want to hear, but it should be true. I mean, it should be true. So let's say I have 10 messages and I have 10 groups of customers. Then I give 10 different messages to all of them under the same umbrella, and it doesn't look like it's very different. But you know, like to one customer, I might say I'm internationally traveled. To another person, I would say I have entrepreneurial experience.
Right.
Depending on who's interested in what. But it's not untrue. It's the same. So on the skill sets on the hyper-personalization and with the current technologies, that's possible to do.
Yes.
And the old skill sets of trying to get a common consumer insight for the entire population is not relevant anymore.
Yes.
It's not at all relevant anymore. So my skill sets are all more dinosaur skill sets, so doesn't help. But if I mean, the thing is this: if you're looking for a $5 million deal or a $10 million deal, the word of mouth plays a much bigger role in that. And adukku vandu there are ways to do it. The ways of being thought leaders and being seen as thought leaders.
Beautiful.
There is things to be done that you do. I can give an example that we did with Latent View.
Yes, please.
We started these things called Latent View Analytics Summit, or now we call it roundtables. We would get the thought leaders in the space, mostly our customers, potential customers, to discuss the topics of relevance out there. And we as the company would just moderate it, right? We wouldn't do too much in that. We'll just moderate it. But that turned out to be very, very effective, both with our customers and with our potential customers, because one, they perceived the company as thought leaders. They perceived good things happening and so on. Very simple tools. This was a tool that we used in Johnson & Johnson in the vision care business, which was basically when J&J created the first contact lens. It bought a company in 1983, spent 5 years in R&D, and launched the product in 1988 in Florida. And within a year was the global market leader. But the launch was done to the thought leaders. So it was given to optometrists and ophthalmologists for them to use it on their patients for 1 full year, free of cost. And they came, and our launch, J&J's launch is very simple. The optometrists and ophthalmologists were the only people who spoke during that launch.
Right.
And they spoke about their experiences with their patients, how they did not see any giant papillary conjunctivitis. They didn't see any of the problems that you face with the traditional contact lenses. You don't have any of that. And they spoke about it. And all the other optometrists and ophthalmologists shifted to J&J. Within a year, it went to market leadership position. The principles of that continues to hold today. The world might be faster. We might not have 5 years of R&D efforts. People might not allow it. But the principles remain the same. You need to invest in having a differentiated product that addresses your customer's need better than anybody else in the world. And the global outlook, anybody else in the world, the earlier you start, the better. I don't think it's great to build something where you're better than the people in this room or in this city or in this country, because it's better for you to think big. Then it gives you the opportunity to build a really beautiful business over a period of time.
Very nice. So the principles, Gopi, நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி remain the same. அப்படியே தான் இருக்கு. பேர் மட்டும் தான் மாத்திரம். நீங்கள் சொன்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள்ல இப்போ அவங்கள இன்ஃப்ளூயன்சர் அப்படின்னு கூப்பிட்டு பண்றது அதே தான். ஆனால் ஒரு மாடர்ன் பேர் வச்சு அதை நம்ம எடுத்துட்டு போவோம்.
Correct. அதே தான். So the principles, that's why I started out saying business is very simple. And as long as you stick to the principles, you'll be winning.
Nice. ரொம்ப எளிமையாக சொல்கிறீங்க கோபி, பிரமாதமாக இருக்குது. நான் கோபி, உங்களை பற்றி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்களேன். Who is Gopi, the outside the entrepreneur?
Outside the entrepreneur, I'm very close with my family. So I'm the only child. So that is one of the reasons I came back. And my wife belongs to Chennai as well. And I have one daughter. So we're very close to family. So as a family, we catch up fairly. And when I say as an extended family, we, my cousins and all of us, we catch up fairly regularly. And as friends too, I'm really close with my friends, so I spend a lot of time. And I think there's no place like home, so I feel so I do travel a lot. Every quarter I'm in Europe and US, because I need to be close to the consumer and the customer for me to be sharp. And I like pitching against these cool Silicon Valley guys and showing how we can deliver better than that.
Right.
But I prefer home, and I prefer. I love it now that it's more than 10 years since I came back to Chennai. I really love it here. In my college days, I was into choreography a lot. So I'm. It's not very pleasant to say this, but I'm a reasonably good dancer. I've been on stage multiple times and things of that nature. So, and I was into dramatics a lot, right? So, which kind of helped me in my marketing career, because your product launches and things of that nature are nothing but it's just. And also, I like nature a lot, so I spend a lot of time in the farm, as close to nature as possible. I'm a water fanatic. I like scuba diving. So I've done probably more than 70 dives across different places in the world, but I really love scuba diving. And I'm a nerd at heart, so I keep going and studying more things. So I did a advanced management program at Harvard in 2018. I'm probably going to go to IMD this year to do the high performance board meeting, because at this stage in my career, I'm realizing that I have to use my experience to guide others And so I need to hang out with people who have this skill, which is instead of saying, okay, why don't you do this or why don't you do that, you need to ask the questions like, what all have you tried?
Right.
And, what worked? And could you do more of that? And so on. So it's just a skill that you need to pick up, and no better way of picking it up than going to campuses, spending some time understanding the theory behind it, and having actions on it. So I'm more a homebody, love to hang around in Chennai. I know all the nice restaurants in Chennai. And since COVID, although I've been a TiE Charter member since 2011, even before I moved back to India, because I was very interested in what TiE was doing in India and so on. But now that post-COVID, I've been very, very active.
Yes.
And we have I chair the Deep Tech Committee for TiE. And we work closely with the ecosystem players, and we are here to support any deep tech company. And of course, one of the original Mera Bharat Mahan visions is I'd love to see in the next decade or two some really world-class companies emerging from our ecosystem, right? So in whatever way we can support it or help, we are here, right?
Lovely. IIT, IIM, IMD, Harvard, now another IIM. What are your sources of learning other than IIMs and IMDs? Books, podcasts, Gopi, enna padipinga, enna kepinga?
So so I don't have a method to that.
Right.
Mostly, the advantage of going to these brand name institutes is you hang around with people smarter than you.
Absolutely.
So I catch up with them.
Right.
So whenever I travel, when possible, I stay with friends instead of in hotels.
Yes.
And even if I'm staying in a hotel, we make sure we catch up for dinner. And I'm fascinated by what they're doing and how they are working on things and so on. Obviously, it's mutual, so they also get very excited about what I am doing at any point in time. But that's a real source of inspiration for me. And then for me to understand what these guys just told me, I have to read some 5-6 books, see some 4-5 YouTube things, and that's how I improve my knowledge. I just have one conversation with one of these guys. ஒரு 30-40% தான் புரியும். அதை தலையாட்டிட்டு திரும்பி வந்து I have to read up a lot to be in tune with these guys. But that's a really nice way of picking up knowledge. I'm more how do you say, செவி வழியா கேட்டு படிக்கிறதோட. But I read all the airport books. I read whatever is there because of all my travels. போனோன்னு bestseller, இதுதான் any business book that is kept there, I pick up and read. A few stay with you, but significantly it's listening and talking to others and understanding from the experiences stick to me a lot more.
Very nice. Lovely, Gopi. அருமையான, அதாவது ஆரம்பமே நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு குளோபல் பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ் வேணும். ஃபார் அன் ஆண்டர்ப்ரனர் யூ நீட் அ குளோபல் பெர்ஸ்பெக்டிவ். பிக் விஷன் அட்ராக்ட்ஸ் லைக் மைண்டட் பீப்புள். ஸோ அந்த ஆண்டர்ப்ரனரோட விஷன் எப்படி கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணுறோமோ, நமக்கு யார் தேவையோ அவங்க வந்துடுவாங்க நம்மளை தேடி. சாஃப்ட் சேஞ்சஸ் ஆர் இம்பார்ட்டண்ட் ஃபார் அ கம்பெனி க்ரோத். அதாவது எல்லாம் முரட்டு சிங்கமாக தான் இருக்கணும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது. அங்கங்கே சின்ன சின்னதாக சேஞ்ச் பண்ணால் கூட ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக அது பெருசு வரும். அட்ரஸ் அ நீட் பெட்டர் தேன் எனி ஒன் எல்ஸ். மார்க்கெட்டிங் பேசிக் பிரின்சிபலை ஒரே லைனில் சொல்லிட்டு போயிட்டீங்க. அருமை, அருமை, மிக அருமை. மேக் இட் கூல் டு ஒர்க் மோர். என்னை வந்து சேரணும்னா நான் ஒரு கூல் கம்பெனியாக ப்ரொஜெக்ட் பண்ணணும். ஐ ஷுட் கிவ் அ லாட் மோர் அதர் தென் ஜஸ்ட் மனி. கெட் த வேல்யூ ப்ரொபோசிஷன் ரைட். ஹூ இஸ் லுக்கிங் அட் யுவர் ப்ராடக்ட்? யூசர், இன்ஜினியர், மார்க்கெட்டிங், ஆண்டர்ப்ரனர். நேராக யூசர் கிட்ட போங்கன்னு சொல்கிறீங்க. அதுவும் ஆண்டர்ப்ரனருக்கு ஒரு மெசேஜ் எனக்கு அப்படியே செவி வழினீங்க, எனக்கு செவிலே விட்டாமல் இருந்தது. த்ரோ யுவர் ஈகோ இன்டு கார்பேஜ்னு வேறு சொன்னீங்க. கண்டிப்பாக போட வேண்டியது தான். ஏன்னா நம்ம ஆண்டர்ப்ரனர்ல அந்த ஈகோ முதல்ல வந்துடுது, விச் ஸ்டாப்ஸ் எவ்ரி திங் எல்ஸ். தாட் லீடர்ஷிப் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். அதுவும் நீங்கள் லேட்டன்ட் வியூ ஆஃப் த ரவுண்ட் டேபிள் சமிட் தட் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் absolutely different. And as also get a differentiated product out and keep pushing more. நான் கற்றுட்டது கோபி, படித்தது போராது, காலம் மாற மாற நம்மளும் நம்மளை அடாப்ட் பண்ணிவிட்டு படிச்சுக்கிட்டே இருக்கணும். உங்கள்கிட்டேருந்து வந்த பெரிய லேர்னிங் எனக்கு அதுதான். தேங்க்ஸ் அ லாட் ஃப்ரம் TiE Chennai ஃபார் பார்ட்டிசிபேட்டிங் இன் அவர் பாட்காஸ்ட். செவி வழி உங்களுக்கு மட்டும் இல்லை, எங்களுக்கும் தான். மிக்க நன்றி.
மிக்க நன்றி பிரவீன். தேங்க்ஸ் ஃபார் த ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. ஸோ பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் மை திஸ் திங் சொல்லியே ஆகணும். செல்வத்துள் செல்வம் செவிச்செல்வம் அச்செல்வம் செல்வத்துள் எல்லாம் தலை. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி இன்டராக்ஷன்ஸ் அதெல்லாம் வந்து gives you so much energy and inspiration. And the other thing that you pointed out, இந்த மாதிரி நமக்கு next 10 yearsல the way the world changes, we don't have the skill sets to deal with it. We are going to acquire it in the next 10 years. So அது வந்து we should remember. நம்ம வந்து பழைய கதையை பேசிட்டு இப்படி பண்ணோம் அப்படி பண்ணோன்னா இல்லை. So we have to be open to learn from the entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Every interaction with the entrepreneur is a big learning. Our experience can அவங்க கீழே விழும்போது நானும் 4 வாட்டி விழுந்திருக்கேன்னு சொன்னால் அது போதும். அவங்க they get up and move forward. Because and every step is every first sale that you make, first 3 times you meet the customer, you fail.
Yeah.
4th time, 5th time you might convert. So and the blunders na, every step you take is a blunder. Jolly பண்ணிட்டு போணும். அது ஒரு have fun. Don't take it seriously or personally. நம்ம எது பண்ணாலும் தப்பு நடக்க தான் செய்யும். அது பண்ணிட்டு போயிட்டே இருக்க வேண்டியது தான். ரொம்ப நன்றி பிரவீன். Thanks for the opportunity.
Lovely, Gopi. Awesome. That's it for today on Breakthroughs and Blunders Tanglish podcast. இந்த பாட்காஸ்ட்ல பங்கேற்கணுமா? கான்டாக்ட் TiE Chennai.